welcome everybody, and thank you for inviting me for an opportunity to talk about why lean just isn't enough when it comes to design and construction. If you wouldn't mind going into chat, letting me know how many of you actually have a background in design and construction. It would be helpful for me. And while you're doing that, let me introduce myself. Oops. I am, as Q said, I'm a principal consultant at Scrum Inc. My name is Dee Rhoda, and my family owns a highway heavy construction company and a rebar coating company. So I've seen the industry up close. I tried to stay away from the family business as long as I could, but last year I started working very closely in the design and construction industry and started working with companies looking to make changes in the way they did their work. And so it brought to mind a question that we often ask each other. It's like, why Scrum? Scrum is not just for IT. Scrum is a solution across multiple industries. And the design and construction industry can truly benefit from making changes to the way they approach work. For those of you who are in this industry, you might know what that industry looks like from the traditional approach, that traditional design, bid, build approach that's been around forever. And the industry has been slow to change from this traditional process. And I've witnessed that aversion to change because of this. It's an industry that's steeped in tradition and hierarchy. Does that sound familiar to any of you? I mean, that's just about any industry that we try to make changes in. Hierarchy, tradition, and aversion. So, however, many of those other industries have begun to make changes to the way they work. I'm sure you're seeing it across multiple industries, such as manufacturing, marketing, human resources. These are areas that have been starting to embrace agility, embrace that agile mindset and approach to doing work with their customers, their stakeholders, and it provides, as we all know, the competitive advantage in any marketplace you're in. So the iron triangle approach has failed for many, many years. It's failed in design and construction. We can no longer set ourselves up for this failure. We need to stop gathering big, audacious requirements with upfront and start looking at creating incremental, iterative work packages, delivering true value. Again, the traditional approach does not work, and the industry is starting to reject it. And why wouldn't they? I mean, the research shows, it is revealing that companies that stick to that traditional approach will continue to realize slow delivery times and budget creep. And as a matter of fact, owners are now, 58% of them are saying they will no longer work with companies that continue to use the traditional build or design, bid, build approach. It's not working. And companies that want to stay in the marketplace need to realize that and need to start looking at ways to change that traditional approach. The Standish Group has been researching why Scrum works, and the answer is decreasing the average time to make a decision. This is called decision latency. And the Standish report has shown in the research it's done from 2013 on that poor decision latency, which is approximately making a decision in more than 5 hours, does not support a good process. If your decision latency if you have the ability to make a decision in 1 hour or less, you will be more successful. Scrum teams support decreasing decision latency and the amount of time it takes to make a decision by empowering cross-functional, self-managing, small, dedicated teams. The challenge to experiencing this average 42% increased success with good decision latency is bureaucracy and hierarchy, which exists across all organizations. Now, we know in design and construction, there can be a lot of sign-offs, a lot of inspections and handoffs. Some are necessary. Some require a large amount of waiting, which we know is the biggest waste in the industry. So we need to take a look at decreasing these. We need an approach with a mindset that allows for freedom where possible standardization where necessary. We've taken steps recently to start affecting that change in this industry. Pardon me. Design build is becoming popular. We're starting to see the value of moving away from away from a push system and towards a pull system in project management. Removing the steps in the bid process alone has increased the time to delivery on average by 33.5%. Increased delivery speed by 33.5% just by removing that traditional design, bid, build process. However, we can do better. Lean alone is not enough. If we combine the lean principles with the Scrum framework, we're now bringing collaboration, innovation, ideation to life with a holistic approach to project management. And we're bringing the designers, the owners, the construction, and trade professionals together to decrease risk and increase quality and increase time to work in place. Not too long ago, Scrum Inc. actually worked with an offshore oil refinery in Azerbaijan. Hard word for me to say. We worked with them in Azerbaijan, and we spun up 16 Scrum teams in 2018. And the results were striking. I'm just going to give you a few. First of all, they saved 26 million in 1 year in logistics costs by changing how they used and optimized vessels. Their teams, the Scrum teams, identified opportunities to reduce capital expenditures by almost $1 billion. And the number of work order change requests that were executed behind schedule decreased by half. When we combine the lean principles with Scrum, we're solving for the complexity and the complicated. Because construction projects are complicated. There's many moving pieces and parts that need to fit together to drive a job to done. And we need to bring together equipment, materials, people in the trades and laborers to solve for the complicated. Lean does that. However, construction projects are also complex. We must be able to adapt and pivot to the uncertainties we face in many forms in the design and construction industry. Uncertainties such as price increases, scarcity of supplies or labor, and of course, the ever-present uncertainty of weather. Scrum amplifies lean and goes further. I don't need to go through these statistics with you. They prove themselves. Traditional project management underdelivers. The statistics are out there, they prove it. You'll have these statistics in the slides that we'll be sharing with you after the presentation if you want to take a deeper dive. I'm not going to go through these with you. They're out there. We all know this. We all know that the traditional project management model isn't working. So the connection is clear. And leadership needs to lead the change. Leadership needs to embrace the change and focus not only on creating a lean organization, but also an organization that brings all parties together, people and interactions over process and tools. Focus on the people as well as the process. The Agile Manifesto provides that focus. So a few of us in the industry got together to see how the Agile values translate in the design and construction industry. The focus is familiar, as you can see. We are working across specialties and teams to deliver a common goal. We deliver design or work in place incrementally and gather feedback from various stakeholders. And we work with suppliers and owners to co-develop solutions. And we acknowledge that the plans will change. Therefore, we create plans able to address the changing environment. So what I want to mention to you here is people first, as I mentioned, people first. And my passion is to take a look at the statistics and find ways to make changes. The construction industry has the highest rate of suicide across all industries in the US. Suicide rates for veterans within the construction industry are 1.5 times greater than non-veterans in the US. Some key reasons for this are performance pressures, schedule, budget, and quality, and the culture, the stoic, old school, and tough guy culture. I'm presenting these statistics only for awareness and hope. The traditional approach to design and construction does not work. The industry is rejecting it. Leadership is learning to embrace an agile mindset, lean principles, and Scrum. My passion, my hope is that by changing the approach in this industry, we will literally be changing and saving lives.